Good morning. Thank you for coming. We are with Lead Bristol. This is for, of course, the Sullivan County Anti-Drug Coalition, our community service project. I'm Michael Ratliff with the Bristol, Tennessee Parks and Recreation. Okay. And first thing we would like to talk about is our objectives with our SCAD coalition project. Our objectives were to identify the effects parents and communication strategies have on their teens, understanding the communication challenges between parents and teens, develop a clear, conscious message to help initiate conversations between parents and their children, demonstrate that the message reached at least 1,000 adults in the community, continue to expand the scope of the message as a sustainable outreach. And next we went to our plan of action. Develop a survey to gather information from Sullivan County high school students and their parents, infiltrate the school system and collect data, analyze the data to ascertain the overall attitude toward underage drinking, develop a slogan to get the message to the public locally, distribute the information back into the community through several different media avenues. And then next, we have Preston Smith, who's going to talk about the surveys.
All right. Let's go back to objective number 2, which was to understand the communication boundaries and the problems with parents communicating the issues to their children. I'll give you an idea of where we're going with the questions here and the objectives we had for these. First, we started with the parent surveys that were given to the parents of the same children that were provided the surveys. Question number 1, do you regularly talk to your children about the dangers of underage drinking? Now, we went question to question with our expectations or kind of predictions of what each question would give. We felt that this question might have been a little skewed. We'll talk about the results in a minute, but we felt like most parents do not. And as we expected that to be our prediction of the result, we wanted to not necessarily give a guilt trip, but an eye-opener to parents as to why they're not talking to their children. So from there we went with, do you think that underage drinking is a minor and major problem, somewhat serious problem, or not a problem at all? And as we'll talk about the results, you'll see that most do think that it's either a major or a serious problem. So from there we went to, has your child ever had experienced peer pressure from other friends drink alcohol? Which we kind of wanted to open to parents that this is a problem, and that as they completed the surveys, they understand that their children are experiencing this peer pressure and need to be talked to. So from there went to question number 4, did your parents ever talk to you about the danger of underage drinking? And the generation prior to ours, I feel like parents talk to their children a lot more than they do this day and age. And like I mentioned, we wanted to give parents the idea that they are responsible for talking to their children here. So now we'll go to the students' questions, where we really wanted to get to the heart of the problem, the nitty-gritty of the situation. First 2 questions here, just demographics, kind of see what we're dealing with. Question number 1, we just wanted an idea of the situation of how many are drinking, and number 2, have you ever had alcohol in the past 30 days? Really correlates to the question number 3, would your parents permit you to drink alcohol in the home? As we get to the results, you'll see an eye-opening number there, kind of an alarming figure that the results are very similar between those 2 questions. Now number 4 was our main getting to the problem of the situation here. Do you feel uncomfortable if your parents talk to you about underage drinking? And as we get to the results of this question, you'll see that most do not, which we're putting into the message to the parents that not truly feeling uncomfortable there. But as Dr. Arnette will show you, you'll see the results to be interesting. And question number 5, have you ever experienced peer pressure to drink alcohol with friends? And we just incorporated that question into our message with the parents. All right, for Dr. Arnette, what's the results?
And so what we did is we took all of the information we obtained from the surveys and we compiled it and we picked out the points that we thought were the most important. And actually the most shocking thing was that we found 72% had actually spoken to their kids about the effects of alcohol and the dangers of the underage drinking. And more unbelievably, 84% of them thought there was some type of pressure on their kids for drinking. So we were wondering why there was not 84% talking to their kids about alcohol if they thought they had been pressured by that. And surprisingly, only 5% did not think it was a serious problem. So they actually are more aware of the problem than what we thought, even though they're still 95% are not talking to their kids about the dangers of underage drinking. And 57% of them were educated as the child from their parents. So that's something we thought was a little staggering, that even though only half of them were educated, more of them were still talking to their kids. So there's some correlation there that it is becoming more of a problem. And then we found the student survey results. And 66% of the students had tried some type of alcoholic beverage, so over half of them have drank at least one time. And of those, 24% had drank within the last 30 days. And 72% of the students were not uncomfortable talking to their parents. So sometimes we think the parents are having a problem, but the kids don't have a problem at all with it. So that was good news to us. And then 60% thought there was some type of peer pressure, so the parents actually thought there was more peer pressure out there than the kids thought there was. And then we had some demographics here. About half of them were male, half were female. And the age range, most of them were between 13 and 18, but our big range was really 16 to 18 there. And then our surprising result was 24% of them were allowed to drink in the home. And that was the most shocking thing we found. We could not believe there was that many. And then of this, we compiled everything together and we found our big result, which was to look at the information that said, well, why don't you want to talk to me about it? What is it about the parents that are making the kids so uncomfortable? And what we found was the tone and approach made all the difference. So if the parents were coming out, their approach a little bit better, then we felt maybe that number would go up. So this is what we used to derive our other slogan and information, which Bridget's going to talk to you about. I'm sorry.
We meant to swap the order on these,
You
sorry.
did. That was yesterday. I apologize.
It's a little bit out of order. We met on December the 10th as a group to kind of have a brainstorming session and figure out how we could get our message out, what a good venue might be, to get the word out to the 1,000 adults. That was our goal. So as many of you know, if you live around here, December timeframe always brings the Arby's Classic basketball tournament. So we thought this would be a great venue. There's going to be a lot of adults in town with their children, and the teams are also going to be there. So we started working to develop some kind of a plan to get out there and get the word out. So we started working together as a group over probably the next 2 weeks because the time window was fairly tight there. So we worked together to get a flyer together that we could go and hand out to some of the parents and teens at the event. Through Bridget's help, we were able to get approval from the Viking Hall administration to allow us to be able to hand out the flyers. We want to make sure that we weren't going to do anything to disrupt people's happiness there. So we were able to get that in fairly short order, particularly given the Christmas holidays. So we finalized our plans at another group meeting on the 23rd of December, and I got together 300 flyers that we would go hand out at the event. And we went, we figured the first 2 days would be the best because all the teams are pretty well involved in the game over those 2 day periods. So we thought that would be our best bang for the buck. So we took 150 flyers each day between the two teams that we sent out and handed those out to parents as they were walking in the venue. And Bridget and I had the opportunity to go on Friday, and you'll notice somehow I ended up in like 3/4 of the pictures, but I did not do 3/4 of the work. I'm just the most photogenic. So we went out while we were handing out the flyers. A lot of people just kind of took it and, yeah, thanks, whatever. There were actually some people that were very engaged, and we had some good conversation with, one of which was an ABC agent from Virginia. And in talking with him, he read the flyer and paid a lot of attention to the words. He said, I really appreciate what you guys are doing. Told us, what his job was, and said this is really important, really good stuff for us. And the more you can do to get the word out, the better, his life was. We also had the opportunity to talk to the basketball coach from Keene University, and he kind of echoed the same sentiments that, this is a problem. People do need to get the word out. They do need to know about this, and we really appreciate the efforts that you're doing today. And if we go to the next slide, this is the flyer that we were handing out there, trying to get the word out that a text is a good way for kids these days, particularly to communicate. It seems to be their primary method. So just ways parents can get the words out to their kids. Hey, thinking about you. Try to keep them having fun without having to involve alcohol in whatever their evening is. And then we also put the link to the SCAD Coalition Facebook page at the bottom, so if they wanted further information, wanted to learn more, then they would have this flyer still handy to be able to do that. And then Bridget will tell you a little bit more about our flyers and message.
Okay. With our survey results, we created also a slide, and the purpose of the slide was to give parents the idea to text their teens to make good choices when they're out with friends. And we also wanted to promote the Facebook page on this slide as well. And once that the slide was complete, we got approval from BVU, and we were able to put it on the community cable page. And we started running that January the 8th, and it will run through the end of April. So it's been on there quite a while. So BVU has about 10,000 cable customers altogether. So it was a possibility that 10,000 people could have saw that slide. So it was a really good mix of people that were able to see it, from parents to grandparents to get down to kids. But mostly we were targeting our parents here. That I know that a lot of times that if just one text, just to remind them, maybe they're getting ready to do something that they shouldn't be doing, and one text could change someone's life. So if we just can, get the parents to check in with their kids and remind them, to make good choices, I think that would help a lot. And Derek's going to share with you some information on our calendars and magnets.
We also wanted to design calendars and magnets to get our message heard. We thought it was a great opportunity for that. And click it one time.
Sure.
It shows the magnet down there too as well. But the message we wanted to be heard was our main slogan is to talk when discussing underage drinking, to make sure that the tone and approach makes the difference. And we also had the Sullivan County Anti-Drug Coalition logo on there with the Facebook link. The calendars were actually dispensed at two local Eastman credit branches, the one on the Volunteer Parkway and the one here in Bluffville, right up the way here. Those branches are very high volume branches. I see numerous members each day. So with that being said, the calendars were located in areas that the members saw it. Even though if they didn't pick up the calendar, they saw the message, because they were located on tower line right where they were doing a transaction, in the lobby where they're waiting for a member service representative. So the message was heard. They were actually a huge hit. We spent 275 calendars in just a matter of 5 days. And we actually got numerous compliments about the message we got across on those calendars. So that said, they were a big hit. The magnets, we actually dispensed 200 of those to a local church, and also back to the students at the schools we surveyed. So we dispensed 200 of those, and I brought the box. We actually want to keep a few of the calendars and some of the magnets for you all, for the coalition, so you could actually take them to your work or use them for the coalition. So if you want to slide to the next slide. And in closing, we wanted to just touch on the total people reached for the message we were trying to get across. The BB slide potentially reached 10,000 cable customers in the community that ran over 4 months. 300 flyers were given out to Arby's Classic, 275 calendars were handed out to 2 Eastman credit union branches, and 200 magnets were handed at a local church and the students at the schools we surveyed. So we feel that our message was heard and has made a big impact on the battle for underage drinking.